Hello and welcome. Okay, let's just jump right in. Have you ever been digging around your network settings and you see this bizarre IP address? You know the one. It starts with 169.254. It looks like an error, feels like an error, but it's not. It's actually your computer's secret plan B for networking, and we're going to break down exactly what it is and what it's trying to tell you.
Oh man, we have all been there, right? You look at the little icon, it shows you're connected to the network, you've got the bars, but you open a web browser and nothing. No internet access. It is one of the most frustrating things ever. Well, guess what? That weird 169.254 address is very often the secret culprit behind this exact problem.
So, what's the deal here? It's so easy to think your computer is just, broken, but what's really happening is way smarter than that. Instead of just throwing its hands up when it can't get an IP address from your router, your device actually has its own backup plan. It's a feature, not a bug. And that backup plan has a name, APIPA. It stands for Automatic Private IP Addressing. Now, the most important part of that whole phrase is assigns itself. Your computer is literally taking matters into its own hands because it isn't getting an address from the place it's supposed to, which is your router's DHCP server. Okay, here's the best way to think about it. Picture this. You show up to a party, but the host, the person who's supposed to be at the door giving everyone a name tag, is just gone. Nowhere to be found. So instead of everyone just standing around in silence, you all decide to just make your own temporary name tag so you can at least talk to the other people in the room. That is exactly what IPPA does for your devices.
So how do you spot one of these temporary self-made name tags? It's super easy. They always, and I mean always, fall within this one specific range. 169.254.anything.anything. The second you see an IP address starting with those numbers, you know for a fact APIPA is at work. It's like a universal signal in the networking world.
So how does a computer just give itself a name? It doesn't just pull a number out of thin air. There's actually a pretty cool and logical process that it follows automatically, right in the background, without you having to do a thing. Okay, so first, your device politely asks the network for an IP address. It's basically shouting, "Hey, router, anybody out there? I need an address." But then, crickets. Just silence. No DHCP server answers the call. So it decides to take matters into its own hands and just picks a random address from that special 169.254 range. But before it makes it official, it does one last very important thing. It checks to see if any other device on the local network already took that name. If the coast is clear, boom, it claims it. So this all sounds pretty clever, right? Your computer saved the day. Well, yes and no. APIPA is a total hero when it comes to talking to other devices locally. But when it comes to the big, wide world of the internet, it's a complete zero. And this is the real reason you notice it as a problem. This right here explains the whole trade-off perfectly. With an Apipa address, yeah, your computer can totally talk to the printer in the same room. It can share a file with the laptop sitting right next to you. It creates this tiny little functional local network. But can it get to Google? Can it check your email? Stream a video?
No way. Absolutely not.
Let's break it down into pros and cons. The pros are legit. You get that local connectivity, and it all happens automatically without you needing to call an IT expert. But that con? Well, it's a deal breaker for pretty much all of us. The reason you can't get online is that APIPA doesn't assign a default gateway. Think of the default gateway as the address of your router. It's literally the door to the outside internet. No door, no internet. Simple as that. And this brings us to the real world, right? While APIPA is a really clever feature, the fact that your computer had to use its plan B in the first place is almost always a sign, a symptom of a bigger problem that you actually need to solve. So let's just ask the question straight up. You run a command, you see that 169.254 address staring back at you. Should you be worried? Is this a bad thing? And the answer is yeah, usually yes. It is a massive red flag. Now, here's the interesting part. It cleverly proves your computer's network card is working perfectly. But it's also screaming at you that there's been a total communication breakdown between your device and your router. And those are the two most important players on your network. And they aren't talking. But here's the good news. Because APIPA is such a specific signal, it actually points you right toward the solution. Instead of just randomly guessing what's wrong, you can try a few really targeted fixes to get that conversation between your router and your device started again. Here are the top 3 things to try, and we'll start with the easiest. First,
If you're plugged in with a wire, just check the cable. Is it loose? Is it plugged in all the way? Second, the classic, the legendary, turn it off and on again. Seriously. Restarting your router reboots its DHCP service, which might have just frozen. And third, you can do the same thing to your computer's network adapter. Just go into your settings, disable it, count to 5, and then re-enable it. This forces it to ask for an IP address all over again.
So, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Apipa is not your enemy. It's a helpful feature in disguise. It is literally your computer's way of raising its hand and saying, hey, over here, I'm working just fine, but I cannot hear the router at all. It points the exact location of the problem for you.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Apipa is just one of these dozens of invisible automated systems that are constantly running in the background, making decisions and solving problems without any help from us. It really makes you wonder, what other secret backup plans are quietly keeping our digital lives running every single day? Thanks for joining me.